The credibility of Jake the Bongo Tapper takes another hit after he is busted in another lie again. And this lie could have devastating consequences. This lie could be perceived as a betrayal. Jake Tapper, he could have his membership revoked by deacons at Woke United Methodist. The complimentary wiener at 5-Star Frank's, gone. VIP seating at Club Shay Shay, where he is mesmerized by the tantalizing skills of the dancing queen Jackie Mahomes, gone. The weekly invitation to the Butt Bongo Festival returned to sender. Now, that would be the most devastating loss for Jake Tapper for obvious reasons. I mean, where do you think he earned the nickname the Bongo Tapper? You know, one of the many problems with our mainstream media, you never know who's telling the truth. Instead of just presenting the turd and letting us decide for ourselves that it's a turd, CNN has people like Jake Tapper polish the turd. He tries to make it appealing. He works overtime making it look like an appetizing cupcake, when the reality is, it's a rancid turd. According to CNN, Jake Tapper is an impartial journalist. Now, when us normal people hear someone described as impartial, we assume the person being described as impartial is objective. They don't take sides. They simply report the news and they let their viewers decide. Or in the case of CNN, they report the news and let the family and friends who are still watching this network decide. But it is abundantly clear CNN has a different definition of impartial. At CNN, I guess impartial means automatically defending Johnny B. Biden and presenting Donnie Trump as orange man bad. Let me show you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. These are some of the archived videos that I have of Jake Tapper in the years of his impartial coverage at CNN. Watch for yourself.
Referenced a poll by Rasmussen, that's a pro-Trump media company whose polls do not meet CNN standards. The poll suggested that 53% of black Americans indicated they agree with the statement, it's okay to be white, leaving the other 47% to say they disagree or they aren't sure. We should note here the significance of that statement, it's okay to be white. The Anti-Defamation League says that phrase has a long history in the white supremacist movement. So why Rasmussen was polling on it is anyone's guess.
The dehumanizing rhetoric is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country. To open up a copy of Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning.
Does that sound impartial to you? Does that sound like someone who is an objective journalist? Make no mistake about it. Jake Tapper considers himself to be a journalist. I'm sure he looks at himself as the modern-day Walt Cronkite. But we have years of evidence that proves Jake Tapper is a proud deacon at Woke United Methodist. But according to Jake Tapper, he is no longer a proud deacon. Matter of fact, we are supposed to believe that Jake Tapper is not even associated with the Democrats. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Casey_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. This morning on the second channel, we discussed ratings for the Women's National Championship game. The ladies delivered a very strong audience on Sunday, even though the game was painfully boring. Hell, damn near 70% of the games in the women's tournament were painfully boring. They were blowouts. I discussed the potentially grim future for women's college basketball. With the future of Juju Watkins uncertain, the ladies don't have a star next season with the ability to draw mainstream interest. I explain why this could be the reason that ESPN chose to broadcast the game in the middle of the afternoon instead of in prime time. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Several years ago, I want to say it was October of 2020, Jake the Bongo Tapper invited Laura Trump on his show. Casey, why was Laura Trump appearing on CNN? Believe it or not, Jake Tapper used to have an audience. 5 years ago, CNN was easily pulling 1 million viewers in prime time. If I remember correctly, I want to say that CNN was the most watched network in primetime cable news in 2020. I know that's hard to believe now, with CNN barely able to compete with the Cartoon Network, but there was once a time when CNN was actually competitive in cable news. But Laura Trump, she agrees to appear on Jake Tapper's primetime dump, and it's abundantly clear from the beginning of the interview that this was not an interview, it was an ambush. Laura Trump was invited on the show to be passionately lectured by Jake Tapper. Watch for yourself.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have
to watch somebody on stage search for
it's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think
stuttering,
that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
All right, there's a reason I shared that clip in the clips that I shared with you guys earlier. For starters, I wanted to show you CNN's definition of an impartial journalist, but mainly, I wanted to show you who Jake Tapper is. We have years of evidence proving this is who Jake Tapper is, which is why I was incredibly confused Sunday night when I saw Jake Tapper make a stunning denouncement of his woke faith. Sunday night, Jake Tapper invited Brooke Rollins to his CNN dump. Being the intelligent lady that she is, Brooke, she decided to take this interview remotely. She didn't want to risk appearing live and catching a severe case of the woke fungus from the woke welfare collectors at CNN. Now, unlike his ambush years ago with Laura Trump, Jake Tapper allowed Brooke Rollins to actually speak. For those that don't know, Brooke Rollins is the agriculture secretary. The Bongo Tapper invited her on his show to talk about the media-created economic apocalypse. Oh no! The market is crashing! Stocks are falling faster than tuck-friendly bathing suits at Club Shay Shay! It's these tariffs, damn it! The orange man is destroying the economy on purpose! Remember how I told you guys the other day that everyone just needed to relax? Remember how Bob Kramer from CNBC was predicting another Black Monday? Remember how I said that we did not get here in 2 or 3 days? America didn't just bend over one day and allow other countries to bruise the caboose? How it took years, maybe even decades of foreplay to reach this point? When I woke up this morning, I noticed that the media had toned down the rhetoric. The tuck-friendly bathing suits, they were still falling at Club Shay Shay, but the media wasn't loudly claiming that the economic sky was falling. I wonder why. I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that the Dow opened this morning up 800 points. But anyway, Jake Tapper, he was speaking with Brooke Rollins this weekend, and he made a startling admission. Watch it for yourself.
How long do you anticipate this tariff chaos is going to be going on? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
Well, first of all, Jake, thank you for having me. I think it's really important to realize that last Wednesday was when the president announced this new American order, the new American economic plan. We're now 2 days in, right? You've got 2 days of data. Everyone, especially on your side, on the left, is freaking out.
I'm not on the left.
But at the end of the day, listen, this whole concept. All right, Jake, thank you.
What? What? Excuse me? What was that again? Did I just hear the lead tapper at the Butt Bongo Festival say that he was not on the left? If Jake Tapper isn't on the left, what side is he on? Because he damn sure ain't on the side of normal people. Jake Tapper renouncing his woke faith. This would have never happened 4 years ago. Hell, this would have never happened 12 months ago. So why is this happening now? Why does Jake Tapper suddenly have the courage to renounce his membership at Woke United Methodist? Well, Casey, maybe it's a desperate ploy to draw ratings. Maybe Jake Tapper is trying to be more appealing to normal people. That could be part of it. The Bongo Tappers lost nearly 100,000 viewers in the last 12 months, so he could be pandering to normal people, hoping they remember that CNN still exists. Maybe he is disgusted with the Democratic Party and their embrace of violence. Yeah, that definitely could be part of it. I don't see Jake Tapper as a tough guy. He's definitely a lover, not a fighter. But even if he was a fighter, I could understand why he would want to distance himself from the party of violence. There was a study released recently by the NCRI, the Network Contagion Research Institute. Interesting choice of words, contagion. We have been talking about the contagion of the woke fungus on this channel for years now. The NCRI, they released a study on the far left and their embrace of violence. 58% say it's acceptable to destroy Tesla dealerships. 49% say it's justified to whack Elon Musk. 55% say it's justified to give the Trumper the Jimmy Hoffa treatment. Just think about that for a second. Half the people in this country infected with the woke fungus, they believe it's justified to whack the president. This is who the mainstream media defends. This is who the mainstream media aligns with. So I could understand if Jake Tapper wanted to distance himself from this evil. However, I don't think that's the reason Jake Tapper denounced his woke faith. Could be part of the reason, but I don't think it's the main reason. I think the main reason Jake Tapper is distancing himself from the deacons, I think the main reason Jake Tapper's trying to be appealing to normal people, he needs to sell books. Next month, Jake Tapper is releasing his latest book, Original Sin, John Biden's Decline, the Cover-Up, and his disastrous choice to run again. After years of defending John Biden, Jake Tapper is writing a book about the massive cover-up. Kinda hard to get normal people to buy the book when Jake Tapper was part of the cover-up. So maybe, just maybe, 6 weeks before this book is released, Jake Tapper is trying to restore his credibility. Of course, the problem is no one believes him. Give me your thoughts on this. Jake Tapper exposes himself as a liar by denouncing his association with the Democrats. This dude relentlessly defended John Biden while demonizing the Trumper. All of a sudden, Jake Tapper wants us to believe he is impartial. Does anyone believe him? Will his credibility be restored? Will Jake Tapper have a bestseller? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.